Hey guys, it's the Pink King here. Ever since I released my video where I was very critical on the Monsterverse and its direction, I had an idea. Essentially, moving forward, how would I structure the Monsterverse? How would I learn from the mistakes of other cinematic universes and this one to not only fix the Monsterverse, but make it a sustainable franchise? Now, before we begin, let me just clarify this. These are all just my opinions. You don't have to agree with what I've got to say here, and you can make your own conclusions on my idea. In fact, type in the comments how you would structure the Monsterverse moving forward. I think it would be very interesting to see what you all have to say about this, and what everyone else would want to see out of this universe. Also, don't forget, if you enjoy these videos and want more kaiju content in future, then subscribe. My goal is to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we are just so close to doing it. And with your help, you'll not only help me achieve my goals, but also will tell me that you like content like this and want more content like this. So, subscribe right now, and let's get on to the video. First, let's establish how far I'm going to go with this. In my mind, this plan would only go for about a few years. You know, to get this series back on track so it's free to continue and healthily move on forward. First up, let's start with what I would make after GXK. And I know they already announced another Godzilla and Kong movie, but I'm just gonna ignore that for the sake of this. And for the next step, I would make a solo Godzilla movie. Mainly because Godzilla as a character has gotten back into people's good graces and excitement, with stuff like -1 and GXK. So capitalizing on this success just makes the most sense to me, as it will bring more eyeballs to the universe itself, and it gives people incentive to watch it, as we've not seen Godzilla much in a long time. For this movie, I would have it be one that takes a smaller approach in comparison to something like King of the Monsters. I would have there be another new monster that would pose a different type of threat to Godzilla. That being multiple of smaller kaijus. Not only does this give Godzilla a new type of enemy to fight, but also provides a new threat to the characters, as these monsters would be able to attack people much more directly rather than just simply crushing them in buildings. And in terms of characters, I would have kept a sort of blend between some of old characters like Mark Russell and some new ones alongside them, keeping the cast small for this entry so it's easier to develop each character and almost have a sort of rivalry between Mark and Godzilla, something that was slightly touched on in King of the Monsters, but I feel like could be expanded upon a lot more in order to connect the two and engage the audience. Following that, I would follow this movie up with Monarch Season 2. In terms of what I would do, not much. I'd keep the story with where the last one left off, and would even let the season become more Kong-centric, just to help give him some more backstory and development. And this would be the first things I would make after GXK. I would keep both the movie and the show within the same year, so it's both not overdoing it in content, but also satisfying the audience's expectations. And after that, I would have another kaiju movie, but this time it'd be on a smaller budget with either a new original kaiju or one of the older ones from Toho, like Gigan or Anguirus. This would be a movie setting up new kaijus, and have these kaijus be the opposite to Godzilla and Kong, with them the villain of the movies instead of the heroes, so that there's a nice bit of diversity in this universe to help make these monsters feel different to one another. The smaller budget would mean they would have to get creative a lot more, and would make this risk much more likely to become profitable. It's a gamble, but seeing as it would be coming off a Godzilla movie, I think it'd be safer to do it then than to do it after. In terms of TV, I would add Season 2 of the Kong animated series on Netflix. Have something to satisfy the more casual kaiju fans with a character who's more popular, as well as provide a conclusive ending to the series while people wait for the next project to come out. Then, once that was done, I'd move on to another movie, and use a character I'm surprised hasn't been used as much before, Mothra. Yes, I'd make a Mothra solo movie. It would center around the Mothra at the end of GXK and how she works, as well as providing her a backstory, really giving the audiences a new look into kaijus, allowing for much more experimentation in not only ideas, but in terms of stories and narratives. In terms of characters, however, it would be one of the tribe members that we see in GXK. And in terms of settings, I'd have a mix of both Hollow Earth and the Overworld in order to expand this world much more and to flesh it out from where GXK left off. This hypothetical tribe character not only would expand the world with different perspectives, but it would allow a kaiju movie that could risk taking a different approach, with the movie finally concluding with a cliffhanger for the next movie. This movie entry would mainly serve as a test to see whether or not a different type of kaiju would be successful as its own solo movie or not, and would get people invested in other kaijus in this universe rather than only Godzilla and Kong, allowing the universe to become much more healthier and full of more opportunities. Then finally, I would have another big blockbuster event after all this. Maybe another Godzilla and Kong movie, with Mothra's cliffhanger leading into this movie, as she is the one who seeks help of either Godzilla and Kong to stop either a new threat or the villain kaiju from the prior movie I talked about. Something that would help to make this movie feel like it was all building up to something and it was worth people's investments. In terms of characters, I'd bring together all the ones from the prior movies in my continuation, and all have them find a way to each other. Whether they'd have to team up and work together, or they'd have to go against one another. With the movie finally concluding in a huge spectacle that once again leaves the door open for more stuff to come in the future. And that is the way I would personally fix the Monsterverse. I feel this formula I have of one big movie, two smaller movies that build the world, and then one final big movie, with a few shows in between. This is a healthy formula in my opinion, with a good balance between more popular kaiju while leaving room for not only other ones, but human characters also. Is it a good strategy? I'll let you decide that. But for me, I think this formula moving forward would be the most effective way to not only get more people interested in the franchise, but would also provide a lot more movies we're yet to get. Like a modern day, lesser known kaiju movie with like Mothra, as well as seeing what they're capable of when they create new kaijus for their own solo movies. The possibilities with this formula, in my opinion, are endless. But what do you guys think? Do you think my ideas have potential, or do you see the Monsterverse needing a different direction to stay successful? Let me know what you think in the comments. This was just a silly little video I had in mind for a while, and I want to see what you guys have to think also. And with that, I will see you all next time.